Welcome back to the Smoker Fire Show, everyone. I'm Owen Klein, kicking it with Jack Alexander and Corbin Bean Walters.
Corbin.
Thank you, Jack. And with that said, we've been covering a variety of topics already. We are going to get into one that's a little bit more lighthearted and fun because we've been talking about a couple teams that are dysfunctional and bad, and we want to bring a little more positivity to finish out this little session we got going on here. So my job, as tasked by my benevolent overlord, Jack, was to figure out if the Pistons are good and if what they're doing is sustainable. And so I dove into the numbers, gentlemen. I watched some tape. I scrolled the internet, went far and wide, and I believe this is sustainable. I also believe there's ways that the Pistons can make this even better and maximize this window that they have going on right now. So I won't waste any more of your time. Anyways, with that said, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a story about the Pistons offseason that kind of built into this a little bit. And I want your guys' reaction to this. So, Jalen Duren, a guy who's been averaging a triple-double, double-double, over north of 10 rebounds and points, 3 of the 4 years aside from his rookie year that he's gotten here. He met with JB Bickerstaff in the offseason. He's like, yo, what can I do to be the corner piece of this team? And JB Bickerstaff is like, let me work with you. So what he did was he trained with Jalen Duren in the offseason. They got in the lab and they got shots up and they made Jalen Duren into what he is today. So if you guys hear that and you guys see what this Pistons team is doing, like what's your reaction to that? Like, is that like something more NBA head coaches should be doing? Like finding a guy like even a Beef Stew, you talk about him. He's been around the trenches since Detroit was bad. There's a quote. He's like, I've been around since nobody gave a shit about Detroit. Like those two have kind
of been like 2 years ago. Let's be real.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Payne and Jalen were also there.
Because the last time the Pistons started the last time the Pistons started 19-5 was 05-06 when they still had Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace and Chauncey Billups.
Yeah, the last time they started like 2-24 was 2 years ago.
So. That's my point. So it's like there's a progression with this Pistons team, and I don't know. You guys hear the JB Bickerstaff taking time out of his day to work with specifically Jalen Duren. What's your reaction to that initially?
That is beautiful. Is
that more of something that other coaches should be doing with other stars or other budding stars?
If the outcome is what Jalen Duren has become this year, then yes, you do it 100%. You do it 10 times out of 10 because what Jalen Duren has become this year is all NBA caliber. All NBA, top 3 center in the league, arguably. You can argue a lot of other players.
I mean, what we're seeing on the court right now, he is.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm saying you can't argue. Like you got what, Jokic, Vic,
Wemby, and then you get into the Cat conversation, and the Bam.
Bam has also been really good. We've had this discussion before. Like, Duren is in at least top 5.
Yeah.
So if you get you a top 5 player in his position, you get in the lab with that player and you put the work in. You know, maybe that's what JJ Redick needs to do with DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any saving DeAndre Ayton.
Or Charles Lee needs to do that with anybody on the Hornets that isn't Con Knippel.
That's what I'm saying. And even if you do that and you get 75% of what a guy can be, like you get a 25% leap in what a guy can be in one season, you take that 100 times out of 100 because Jalen Duren's been building towards this for 3 or 4 years, but generally it takes guys till like the end of their rookie deals, which is kind of where he's at to figure out if they're your guy. Like especially with superstars and high picks like he was, they get a longer leash, which is generally the end of the rookie deal, whereas like a back end guy is getting 2-3 years, and then like a Rob Dillingham, for example. He's a top pick, but his leash is shorter because he's a bench guy. It's like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But like if it's an Anthony Edwards and you're building towards that when you draft him in 2020, he's got a longer leash.
But also again, that's
like hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby. Like that's like not a fair comparison, but
I mean the difference between Rob Dillingham and Jalen Duren is like, I mean they would really love to have Rob Dillingham be a starting point guard, someone who can really facilitate the offense and be a key piece to that roster. But they don't need him to be great. They need Jalen Duren to be great. Like, this team is a number 1 seed. I mean, of course, Kid Cunningham is playing phenomenal, but they're not the 1 seed without Jalen Duren. The Wolves can be a great team without Rob Dillingham.
Yeah, and you mentioned with or without, and like how teams function, right? I like this Detroit team because they don't play one style. Like, for example, I'm going to give you 2 scores from 2 of their more recent games in the last month, or in this season. They beat Orlando 135-116, but then they also beat Atlanta, one of the fastest-paced teams in the league, 99-98. I think that's important because that shows me that's a team comfortable playing any kind of game. Where in the playoffs, you could end up in a track meet with Cleveland with the Pacers. Or in the playoffs, you could end in an absolute rock fight with Orlando. Now, again, obviously Indiana's not going to make the playoffs, but you say
I get what you're
everybody's
saying.
out
Yeah,
there.
like this,
Yeah,
the
an
ability
example of
to
the
mold your
dichotomy
game.
of different styles you can play. So
Or
I
kinda
think
what that's
that's
saying,
valuable too because there's certain
if you can have the Atlanta Hawks of all teams score 99, 98 points, and that's kind of like the realm of points that's happening by the end of the game.
hold them under 100.
And not only just you're a great defense, but you're controlling the pace of the game. And when you can control the pace of the game, you're controlling the game itself. So and that's something that every one seed is looking for.
That's what the Pacers did. That's how the Pacers succeeded last year. Was you played to whatever the Pacers set it as.
Yeah, and
you played with what they gave you.
Yeah, and the beauty of why the Pacers did it is they played at a mock Jesus pace, but then again, like I said, they were able to change it on the fly because sometimes when teams play a certain style for so long, it takes them 20, 30, 40 games to kind of morph into that. That's not happening. This has been building with the Pistons for the last couple of years. I think the continuity is important there.
Yeah.
I think a big thing real quick is just like not even just what this means for like, what JB Biggerstaff did, but like what that says about Jalen Duren to be like, you know what? The team is obviously on its own level. Cade's doing his thing. Like this team is where it needs to be, but I'm going to be the person that takes them that step higher. They need me to be more and to actively go to your coach and be like, what do I need to do? It says a lot about like where his head's at, how he feels about being on this team, and what him willing to do what it takes to win. Because the last 3 years we've been like, the last 2 or 3 years we've been like, Jalen Duren's got to take that offensive jump. The defense is there. The rebounding is there. Score the ball. And here he is, averaging 20 and 10?
I believe it's 18 and 11 because I was when I was doing the deep dive, he opened his season under 10 on both rebounds, and I believe he was averaging about 8 or 9 PPG. It's hard because we're just guys who talk about it and they're millionaires, but I feel like everybody could adopt that mindset even in the NBA in general. It's like, how can I maximize myself personally? Because then if you come contract negotiation or you come playoff time, it's like, who am I going to get the maximum value out of at a given time? Or how can I make my GM justify paying me? Because if I do everything I physically can to help the team and we still fall up short, then they can't point and look at me and be like, that guy's not doing anything.
That was a bar. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
When you said, how can I justify my GM paying me? That's a freaking bar.
Those are words to live by, Owen. You cooked with that shit.
Sometimes I use words correctly, gentlemen. Clip I found on Twitter that we don't necessarily need the audio for this, but it's a beautiful backdoor set that the Pistons ran. It was beautiful. It was kind of a Cade inbound. He sprinted down court. Duren set him a screen, got a pass from the wing, and then just fed Cade, who was sprinting down the side the whole time.
Spin that shit.
And he can score.
8-point deficit, another backdoor play, and another dunk.
Dude, having somebody like Jalen Duren, who's such a big body to set screens, though.
That's what I'm saying. And
beautiful for Cade. It's so beautiful.
And if you look at Jalen Duren,
Jordan, if he had a handle.
That's literally what it is, because he's going to set hard screens, but he's also functional everywhere else. But you guys see that, and if you would have told me that the Pistons would run something so simple yet so beautiful, that's like the exact opposite of how you describe their franchise and their play the last 4 to 5 years before they drafted Cade and built everything up. It's beautiful, and that's stuff I love to see because I feel like so much in the NBA, we have a lot of on-ball stuff. There's a lot of ball-dominant guys. We talk about heliocentric players fairly routinely in this league and on this very program. And to see that kind of work a simple little three-man, actually I think speaks to kind of the era that the Pistons are in. You're going to let Cade go when he needs to go, but then if you can run something like that routinely, you're getting maximum value out of the rest of those guys, and it shows that you can function. You know what I mean? It's let Cade go when he needs to go, but if Jalen comes to the sideline or Ron Holland or anybody comes to the sideline and is like, hey, they're sitting in this, let's have Cade haul ass on the sideline, Jalen's going to send him a screen, I'll get Jalen the ball, and then Jalen will find him a pass on a back cut like that. It's like those little nuanced things where they don't have a lot of heliocentric players, so it forces them to work together a little bit, and then when the heliocentric player needs to take over, Cade Cunningham's capable of doing that.
Absolutely.
I think even like, just not even like just with what Cade and Jalen are doing. Like you're seeing everyone kind of play this way too. Like Dennis Jenkins coming in and like seamlessly fitting in with this, like the way this guy had never played NBA basketball. Not this level of NBA basketball. They just threw him in, and it fits perfectly. Like they're running this offense so smooth and everything, and they're able to keep this pace going and easily implement new people into it.
Which, implementing new people into it, I want to pitch you guys one out of the box trade. We talked about potentially bringing back Devin Booker back to Michigan, right? We floated that on the podcast. You can go, for those of you watching this, you can go back and look at that because we pitched Devin Booker to the Pistons on this very channel. I have one trade that involves the Pacers. We talked about somebody moving them already, but I want you guys to hear me out. The Pistons receive Andrew Nembhard. The Pacers receive Jaden Ivey, Chaz Lanier, a 2026 first. That's from the Hornets, by the way, Bean, and the 2026 second from the Hornets and 2028 first.
Let us say we have our first next year.
Yeah, 2028 first. I'll read that one more time. The Pistons receive Andrew Nembhard. The Pacers get Jaden Ivey, Chaz Lanier for salary. The Hornets' second-round pick in 2026. And then the 2028 first.
Oh, probably not happening in general. It's the Pacers-Pistons.
Sure, yeah, that in and of itself. But
Also,
again,
the Pacers aren't in a position that they're not going to trade Andrew Nembhard to take a flyer on Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't even like. But if you're the Pistons, I just like. That would be them being aggressive. Like if they were buyers, because I feel like I don't know if you guys can speak to this, but I feel like the Pistons need to be buyers because you look at this East, Jack. If you hear that trade that I read earlier, and you are the Pistons, do you deem like? But let's step back a little bit. Do you deem the Pistons to be buyers? Like, because like me personally, I think the Pistons need to be buyers and maximize on this because I'm seeing the top 6 in the East, and I'm like, other than the Knicks, there's nobody that really scares me as a threat to get for them getting to the Eastern Conference Finals and potentially going to play for the whole thing.
Well,
do they make that kind of splash move?
Here's the thing. That's not the splash move that they need to make. I think what they need to do is they need to go to Danny Ainge and ask for Lauri Markkanen. That's first and foremost. Andrew Nembhard, I know I made him as someone that could potentially be a trade package for like the Minnesota Timberwolves. A, that's more realistic just because it's not in division. But B, I don't think they need to go out and find a point guard. I mean, if they do keep Jaden Ivey, they have that option when he is fully like back into like NBA shape and whatnot, because obviously we haven't really seen that yet so far. But again, Dennis Jenkins, granted, it might be a Jeremy Lin situation here, but as of right now, Dennis Jenkins is a phenomenal backup point guard.
Yeah, again, and you could argue this with everybody, I suppose, but is Dennis Jenkins going to hoop in April? Then again, you could say it for Cade, you could say it for all 5 of the current
Well,
Pistons.
Cade will hoop in April, don't you worry.
But I'm saying okay, come playoff time. But I'm saying you could say that for 2 through 12 on the Pistons roster. Are they going to be able to hoop functionally and help Cade?
Here's my thing. Here's my thing about the Pistons being buyers. I think that they should eventually. I don't think they need to yet. And when I say yet, it all is because here's the crazy thing about the Pistons is Cade is 21. Not 21. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Cade is 24.
There we go.
Jalen Duren is 22. Isaiah Stewart is 24. Asar Thompson is 23. Ron Holland is 20. Dennis Jenkins, if he becomes part of this core, is 24. Your key guys here, the guys that you're truthfully going to build this team around, let me take Dennis Jenkins out of that. You're not building around him. Cade, Ron Holland, if you decide to keep him, Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren, they're not at an age yet where you're like, it's not like a Vic situation in the sense of Vic is injury prone, but he's generational. We have to capitalize now. Cade will be fine. Cade hasn't even hit his peak yet. Jalen Duren hasn't even hit his peak yet. Like statistically, your peak starts around 27. They've got 3 years to grow into that. They've got 3 years to grow as a team. They've got 3 years to learn. I mean, imagine if the Warriors, 4 years before 2016 or 2015. Well, I guess they almost traded. They traded Monte Ellis. Like, imagine if they completely were like, let's buy in, and that can either screw you up big time because you trade away like these guys who are going to grow out and be big stars, and a Ron Holland or a Sar Thompson or Jaden Ivey in this case, to get a guy who can help you win now, but like if it doesn't work, you've got $53 million in the books for Larry Markkinen. Now, Larry Markkinen is a great player, but I don't think
he's 20. He's 28 though, Bean. He fits that timeline exactly because by the time you grow
he does
into
not
it,
fit the timeline.
Yeah, if
by
by
the time Cade and Jalen Duren are hitting their peak, Larry Markkinen is 33.
And his contract would be
28
up.
right
34.
Is
At
he,
that point, the
did
contract
I
will
read
be
that?
up.
Yeah, but what
I
I'm
think
getting
he's
at is like,
28.
what do you have to give up to get Lowry? Because this is Danny
Okay.
Ainge. Is it worth trading away these assets who 5 years in the future are going to be hitting their peak with the core of your
Right.
team?
It's
I-
Tobias. It's
I'm not saying that I'm not saying
package
that
is
they're going to go
Tobias
out and
Harris,
trade
Jaden
Ron
Ivey.
Holland, though. That's the thing. Like, I mean, Ron Holland.
Well, what are
obviously
you
is,
trading though?
I get that, but also Danny Ainge traded Colin Sexton for Yusuf Nurkic. Like, we don't know what he's going to be asking for. Now,
And
if you can
Bean.
give up Tobias Harris and maybe Duncan Robinson and Jaden Ivey and maybe a couple picks, I'm doing that. Because you have the draft capital. I mean, you're not the draft capital. You have the salary cap to work with because this team is extremely cheap right now. You go out and get Larry Markkinen. He's on a 3 to 4 year contract, whatever it is. He's expensive, but you're only having that for 3 to 4 years. And then by the time that you have to pay everyone, Larry Markkinen doesn't have to be there anymore because everyone else is boosted up.
And here's the thing, Bean. You said Laurie would be like 33. No, he's 28 now. He'll turn 29 in the offseason. By the time that 3-year growth window that you just mentioned happens, he's going to be
31, 32.
which will be which will be the back end of his physical.
So
prime, or
1 year
the
late.
middle of-
Sorry.
It'll be either the peak of his powers or the absolute like back end like start of the decline.
Which
So-
then you don't have to pay him.
And
as
yeah,
much.
if you got him, you could use him as just let his contract run out, and you try to make a run at it in the 3 to 4 years he's there. And if it doesn't work, by then you have the guys that have peaked already.
I mean,
Why
we're
is
not
that-
talking about a Rudy Gobert type of situation here, where
Yeah,
he's going
this
to
is
end up
not-
being
yeah.
36 years old, making over $30 million.
Yeah, because if you let him go, by the time you let him go, if you haven't won one or at least made a run at it, then you've got those guys who have all peaked, and you can go retool it and try it again.
So long you don't trade those people, like Ron Holland. If you can get Laurie
Yeah.
Markkinen without
I mean, you
I just-
yeah,
I-
probably
Ron Holland,
your best to hold
boom.
on to picks, but
I don't think. First off, I don't think you're going to get Lowry Markkinen. I don't think Danny Ainge is trading him. I
mean,
don't.
it's worth a shot. It's worth trying for.
I don't want the Pistons to buy in and get in over their head. Obviously, Larry Markkinen's a phenomenal player. I don't want them to overpay because it is Danny Ainge. And yes, he traded Nurkic. He traded Sexton for Nurkic and a second-round pick. But again, it was Sexton. He was trying to get off that money. Even though it's an expiring deal, and Nurkic was also an expiring deal. But that's whatever.
But if he's trying to get off that money, he's making a lot of money. Larry Markkinen is.
Well, yeah, because Larry Markkinen's. You look at it. Larry Markkinen's his guy. He paid him to be his guy. I don't think Danny Ainge wants to move on from Larry Markkinen. And I think most of the reports from Utah have been Larry Markkinen's staying. I don't think Larry Markkinen's going anywhere in Utah. Unless Danny Ainge is being offered the house.
Is
for
that
Larry
his
Markkinen.
choice, or is that Danny Ainge just being stingy as fuck?
That's Danny Ainge being that's just Danny Ainge. He
So
loves
it's a pick
Lowry,
situation.
and
It's a
he
pick
thinks that they
situation.
can. He's probably. I think it's gonna come down not even just picks, but like you're gonna. I don't know. I feel like Lowry Markkinen, the way he looks at Danny Ainge, it's gonna be or Danny Ainge, the way he looks at Lowry Markkinen, it's gonna be really hard to get Danny Ainge to say, hey, obviously the Pistons have been trying to get. They've been wanting. Everybody wants the Pistons to get Lowry. I don't think Danny Ainge wants to move him, and if he does want to move him, he wants the damn house. He wants the house.
Yeah.
What else can you give up then?
That's one of the trades I had proposed. Like I've got it right here. It's Tobias, Jaden Ivey, Bobby Clintman to make the math work, and then Detroit's first rounders for the next 2 years and their second. and
Those mean
2028.
nothing. None of that means anything to us.
I don't think that's enough.
The Detroit Pistons, if they get Lowry Markkinen and they're not giving away any key rotational players, they're going to be a top 1 seed in the East every year. So those picks are basically somewhere between 25 and 30. And we get Jaden Ivey, who has had his stints, but coming back post-injury has not looked good. We also have Keontae George, who is the guard we really are kind of built around, and we've got really nothing else outside of that. in terms of guard play. But if there's no way he would look at it, like, especially with what Lauri Markkanen produces.
If you can do it, you do it. 100%.
Yes, if you can and you don't have to give up the house, do it.
Yeah, and the hard part is I feel like we've had Lauri trade talks for the last 3 or 4 years. Nothing's ever materialized.
I've given up on those.
Yeah, I was saying it might be one of those things where it's gonna happen every year until Lauri's out of the league because he's that valuable of an asset, but he's just never gonna get moved because the math doesn't work and nobody wants to negotiate with Danny Ainge.
He may be stingy, but at the same time, the other caveat to that is he was going to accept an offer with Brandon Podziemski. It would be Kuminga and like Brandon Podziemski, and I forget what else was available. But regardless, I mean, those are the types of guys that he was willing to trade Lauri Markkanen for. I mean, that's something that we just found out. So it's kind of a push and pull because there is evidence of him willing to give up Lauri Markkanen. It's just, what does he deem worth for Lauri Markkanen? And maybe that means Ron Holland. So for the non-believers of Ron Holland out there, and you're a Piston fan, maybe you do put in Ron Holland.
You also have to remember that trade was what? Were we talking 2 seasons ago? Was that 2 seasons ago?
It wasn't
Or was that
last
last season?
It wasn't last offseason. It was the offseason prior.
No, it was because
It was before we got. It was the offseason before we got Jimmy Butler.
but that was before his extension, right? Because he signed his extension and then couldn't get traded.
I don't remember. But he was available to be traded. Like they had an opportunity to.
It was the 2024
to trade.
offseason.
Yep, it was. Yeah, it wasn't this past offseason. The offseason prior.
But that was also after the really good AirPods year, right?
See, I don't even know what you would consider a really good AirPods year.
I was saying,
Because
there
he's
was a
up and
really
down
good
all
AirPods
season,
year?
each season. Well, I mean, the thing is he shows his potential, but it's just not every night. And that's been the case for the last few seasons. It's where he's going to have duds and he's going to have great games. So it kind of averages out in the middle.
I don't know. That would be the big swing because other than the AD one that's been floating around, which is legitimate for them, and we can cover that at a different time. Those are what, the AD trade?
Yeah, AD to the Pistons is so stupid.
Why?
Why is AD to the Pistons so stupid?
You could move Jalen Duren to the 4, and then you have one of the
No,
best.
you would move AD to the 4. AD in no
You got
world
that
is going
flipped.
to ever play the 5.
Either way,
Anthony
you've got
Davis would play
Jalen
the 4.
Duren and
Anthony Davis would play the 4.
Okay, well, either way, you've got AD and Jalen Duren as your
For
front
5
court.
games.
For
For 5
a team
games, yes. You're not going to get that in May. You're not going to get that in June. Hell, you might not even get that in April.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, exactly. It's a day-to-day Davis. But, like, objectively, a healthy Anthony Davis on this Pistons roster is just a match made in heaven. Semi-similar to Lauri Markkanen as well. It's just not 2020. It's not 2017, you know? It's just not the case anymore.
It's so tough. I think the Pistons need to be buyers and capitalize on this East the same way kind of the Pacers did last year, but this might be more sustainable than Pacers 1-year run. Then again, I can't call the Pacers a 1-year run because Tyrese Halliburton hurt himself. The Pacers were set up at that point to go on a 4-year run there where they would have competed and been in it routinely. But you guys know what I mean. Where like you capitalize on it now, you get as far as you physically can, and then you're like, okay, we can kind of recycle this roster a little bit and run it back, try to go deeper, and then if it doesn't work, start adding pieces.
I think that's when you become buyers in the sense of like we talked about in the Pelicans video, like to go get a Trey Murphy or Herb Jones, to go get a guy who significantly cheaper. Like obviously Lauri Markkanen is better than both of those guys, but the contract there is the only reason you'd want to like consider it because it is such a big contract, or like to go get someone who seems more available because I'd first off Lauri. I don't know. Lauri, as much as I would want him to be there, I don't think he will be there. Because if Lauri was going to get traded, it would have happened. It would have happened a while ago. Utah's looked all right. However you want to say it.
That's the problem, dude. That's the problem. They cannot be all right. Because the thing is the Thunder have their pick. The Thunder have their pick. It's top 8 protected, so we need them to suck. We need the Utah Jazz to go into full tank mode again. We cannot have them being this good. And they're not a great team, but like they're too good because they're not in the bottom 8.
I'm going to leave you guys with this pair of stats to kind of exemplify what the Pistons are doing right now. They are 4th in defensive rating behind Jack's Warriors, the Rockets, and obviously the Avengers of Oklahoma City, right? And they're 12-4 in clutch time. So not only are they locking teams up for a full 48 minutes, but when the game is close late, they're winning those games. 75% of the time, actually. So I think that just kind of exemplifies that's sustainable. 16 of their games have been in clutch time, and they're 12-4. Yeah, I'm just saying, let that marinate. And like, okay, I'll ask you this, Jack. You hear those numbers, and do you agree that I'll ask you both. This goes for you both. We'll close it out with this. Do you think this is sustainable after hearing those numbers and these off-season stories and how all of this has come together?
Yes.
See, that's the difficult part because I want to say yes, but again, I mean, this team is extremely young. I mean, we're seeing teams like the Thunder, who are an extremely young team, go and do it. But we've seen countless and countless and countless more examples of the exact opposite. So, I mean, there's an argument for no, but I'm going to say yes.
You know what? I'm going to call it now. I'm going to go ahead and say it now. And it sucks because they're both the 1 seeds, but this is the Pistons, and the Pistons 2 years ago were the worst team in the NBA. Pistons Thunder finals.
Oh my God,
locking
that would
it
do
in.
numbies.
I would like
numbies.
to say, you guys both know Malik, right? The audience doesn't, of course, but do you guys know Malik? He'll be in the wedding, and why not too?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He said while he was watching my Warriors, my 2022 Warriors, we were watching that game. I believe it was actually Game 6 of that game or of that series. He said in 2025 it's going to be the Thunder and Pistons in the finals. Granted, he was a year off, but if the Pistons actually make the finals in 2026, damn, was that close.
Yeah, we'll have to throw that footage in there. But you guys have any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Pistons, Thunder, finals, Thunder, repeat champions.
I'm here for it.
In 7 games. Thunder in 7. Thunder in 7, and it's an absolute fist fight.
I think they might take them out in 5 or 6. Just because, I mean, we're not going to see. But what are the odds we see enough? We weren't there yet. I didn't say 7. I said 5 or 6. Damn it. But I mean, what are the odds and this is just from an odds perspective. This isn't anything about the Pistons or the Thunder. The last time we saw Game 7 in the finals was 2016, outside of last season. So what is that? 8 years? 7 years? I mean, it doesn't happen often. It just doesn't happen often.
It'll be 10 calendar years by the time we get to the finals in June, technically. So,
regardless,
10 calendar years.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen.
Well,
often,
all I gotta
I'm
say.
just not gonna say 7.
Also, the Thunder are just that good. I mean, they're like
Yeah,
I saw a stat. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Thunder without Shea Gilgeous-Alexander on the court have a net rating of 16. They have the highest net rating when Shea is off the court, and they have the highest net rating when Shea is on the court. They will not lose.
All-time numbers too.
Are they going to go
the
80?
highest net rating all time? The highest net rating of all time is like 13 or 14.
Are they just going to mess
It was
around?
per 100 possessions. It was per 100 possessions.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's clarify that.
No.
Are they just going to mess around and just smoke the 73-9 Warriors single-season wins record?
I
clear
God, I
by
hope
4 or
not,
5 games.
dude.
It's close, man. It's close. They're 24-1, dude, and they are not slowing down.
This is just 2K. We're living like think back when you were playing 2K18 or let's say 2K19 because that's when
the
trade
Thunder are
happened.
doing a real life 82-0 challenge.
We're
what I'm
literally
saying.
living in the future of a Ronnie 2K simulation, right? I mean, think about playing 2K19 and just grinding it out for like a week straight, and boom, now you're in the 2026 season, and this is just what happens. Everyone's a 90 overall.
Bean's literally right. Like, this is the Thunder, like, when Kenny does 2K Sims, like, trying to go 82-0, this is what it looks like.
When Bean
like,
team
you
does
lose one
2K
random
Sims.
game to the Blazers on, like, a Tuesday night, and then you go 81-1.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, it's like, if they win 75 games, what is that, 75-7? Is that ridiculous? At the rate that we're at. Is it ridiculous?
They're on pace. they're on pace to go like 80-2, bro.
And
Like,
here's another thing.
So is the Warriors. To be fair.
Yeah.
This team has and obviously I'm gonna knock on wood because I don't want anything to happen. They have insane injury luck with the fact that, yes,
They're
J-Dub
so
was down
young.
for a little bit, and Chet has the Chet has the ticky-tack injuries, but outside of those two, no one gets hurt. Knocking on
No one
wood because
important.
I don't want anything to happen.
Exactly.
I'm down to watch a historical season.
All right, gentlemen. With that in mind, I'm Owen Colshot Klein. He's Bean Walters. He's Jack
Like
Alexander.
it.
We are the Smoker Fire Show.
Like,
We're
comment,
on
subscribe.
YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Hell, we're on
TikTok,
Twitter.
buddy.
Whenever the hell Jack feels like using Twitter.
Once every
With
3
that
months.
said,
Every 3 months.
Spotify.
with that said, like it on every single platform. Comment on
Spotify.
every single platform. Tell Jack you love him. Tell Bean you love him. Tell me you love me. Whatever
tell
you gotta
hate
do
Owen.
to comment or like, or that
F
you can
Owen
leave
in
a
the
hate
chat. F
comment.
Owen in
You
the
can
chat.
leave whatever you want.
F1 in the chat.
But at the end of the day, all we ask is that you like the video and subscribe. We're trying to take this to the moon. And with that,
See y'all in
we're
New
out,
York.
gentlemen.
To the moon.